I don't think anyone's ever. I don't know if anyone ever tunes in right away because it always looks like it's empty, the chat room. But I'll wait a couple minutes because I need like a little something to get this started for when people show up. But this evening, we are gonna make a vegan version of BLTs. Hey, Brock.
Hey, Brock.
All right, we got people watching, so we are gonna start with first order of business, which is the oops from the prior episode. So two things. I forgot what that sauce. I was talking about a sauce that goes with mofongo, and I said it was a mojo sauce. It's not what I meant. I meant chimichurri. That was the word I was looking for. I looked it up. Chimichurri is that sauce. And then the other thing, I said I was gonna send everyone stuff for vegan dessert for today, and I totally a couple things I forgot, and also I couldn't decide what I was gonna make. So I'll declare a vegan dessert earlier in the week, and I'll send it out through email, like at least a few days in advance, because I realized it was just too late of notice for a lot of people, and I still don't know what we're gonna do tonight. But I know what we're doing for dinner tonight. So dinner tonight is a couple things. So it's gonna be a legume-free vegan dinner, meaning no beans, no lentils, no peanuts. I don't do any cooking with nuts right now because I don't eat nuts, so I won't be doing anything with nuts and seeds. So we're making vegan BLTs with that delicious looking blue bread from last week. Not last week, 2 days ago. And that's how I'm gonna start everything off, because I'm gonna start with the bread, because normally I do this last, and then it's what I'm waiting for, and then when I go to cut it, it's really, really hot. I'm burning my fingers. The dough it is sticky still because it's hot. But if I do it now, it only takes about a half hour to cook. So that's what's going to be going on in the background of everything else. So we can do the reveal now. Just feel like... All right, so I actually punched it down a little earlier. I hit it with a spoon. I didn't hit it with a spoon, but I lightly stirred it up. So it doesn't look as bubbly as it was. It could probably go another day or so. You can see some bubbles, sort of. There's like one right there. Like I said, this was way bubbly before, but I hit it down maybe 20 minutes ago. So to make bread, this has been sitting. I'm going to first put some olive oil on a baking sheet like this. You can also use a cast iron sheet, but keep in mind that your baking time will change if you're using something that has a high thermal mass. A cast iron is gonna take a lot longer to heat up than a baking sheet like this. So we're gonna use the baking sheet. Got some oil. I am gonna wash my hands to be extra sure that I'm clean. Lovely little spread that Autumn has prepared. I need some more olive oil, and I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil on a pan. Sometimes I use flour, sometimes I use olive oil. The flour, basically I want something that's gonna make this not stick to me as much. So you can use oil or flour. The dough is a pretty wet dough. Slather some oil all over, and just gonna take it out of here. See, it's kind of one cohesive mass of blueness. I'm really curious to see how vibrant this is, if this achieves the same level of blueness that we got when we did this for the first time a few months ago. And if you didn't see what that bread looked like the first time we did it, you can go to Cat Chef Kitchen on Instagram, at Cat Chef Kitchen. I posted that photo there. And the shape of the dough is something to always keep in mind when you are cooking. We are going to be making BLTs, and I like to shape my bread a little bit differently. I think what I'm going to do is lay it kind of flat, almost like a pizza dough, so that we could slice it like that, so we have thin layers of bread to build our sandwich upon, because I don't want like a big puffy piece of bread to build the sandwich on. So this is the way I like to do it. It's also going to help it cook a little faster. I'll rub some more olive oil over this. The olive oil is going to help the bread cook and get a little bit more brown than if there was no olive oil on it. I have not preheated the oven. I'm just going to let the oven preheat with the bread inside of it. I encourage you to play around with preheating the oven and not preheating the oven so that you can decide for yourself how you like bread best when you make it. So that looks good. I don't expect this to puff up very much because I made it so flat and because it's not super bubbly. It could have fermented longer. It actually kind of smells a little bit like a pretzel. It kind of smells pretzel-y, and that's because of that baking soda that's in there. So I just washed the sticky, yeasty dough off of my hands. And I'm going to turn this up to... I kind of play around with this a little bit. I'm going to do 425. We're just going to see what that does for us. I put it on the lowest part of the oven. That's where the more heat is. Depending on your oven, I guess. 425, 450, 425, 450. Can't decide.
437 and a half.
437 and a half. Thank you, Autumn. Just goes to show how important the temperature is. Next, we have a lot of exciting things going on in this episode. I'm really excited about it. We got blue bread. We're also going to be doing this vegan BLT thing, which means I'm going to be making vegan mayo. I've attempted to make non-vegan, like real mayo, once before in the past and failed. It didn't combine and emulsify right. But I'm going to try something totally new. I've never done this before. I have like zero experience creating mayonnaise, other than my one failed attempt in the past. That was basically just like oily, greasy egg yolks.
Hi, Lauren and Charlie.
So,
Brock wants to know how long the bread's going to bake.
Bread is going to bake for about 30 minutes. Thanks for reminding me, because I probably would have forgotten to set the timer. I'm actually going to do it less than that. I'm going to do 25 minutes. 24, because it's already been like a minute. And just check on it. I don't know, because depending on the shape of the bread, how thick it is, it might vary. So I'm going to start with 24 minutes at 437 and a half, and we'll see where that gets us. I'm hopeful and expecting that it won't be fully done at that time. I anticipate that I'll be at least 5 or 10 more minutes. I'm going to check on it, because it's so thin, I'm going to check on it a little bit in advance too. Make sure the bottom isn't burning at all. Because we're using that thinner baking pan, a lot of times I use the cast iron, which heats up a lot slower than the baking pan, but I'm going to be using the cast iron for other things. Yeah, definitely. I was like, maybe, but no, I'm definitely going to use the cast iron for other things, so I want that to be available later on. So, this is my reference for making mayonnaise. It's Cook's Illustrated. If there's anywhere you need to go for like a recipe, go to this website or get these books, America's Test Kitchen or the Food Lab. Those places test recipes and actually like have scientific explanations based on them. So they use both theory and actual testing to make the best stuff, and they explain why things work the way they do. This is where I've gotten a lot of my information from around cooking. So it's where I go to learn to do anything new. Because a lot of times if you just looked up a recipe online, a lot of times it just tells you exactly what to do, but there's no explanation, so you can't understand how to make substitutes properly or any of that. So mayonnaise. I read a little bit about this beforehand, but this may not work still, but we're gonna go with it no matter what. If I have a backup plan if it doesn't work out. According to this, we need 3 tablespoons of water. We need 2 large egg yolks, which we're not gonna be using. I have another plan for that. We need 4 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1.5 cup of vegetable oil, which I'll talk more on in a minute. Salt, Dijon mustard, and sugar. So I'm immediately gonna break this recipe, which is like the last thing that they want you to do because they tested this recipe and it works perfectly. But I'm gonna try and reverse engineer it and make it work for vegan. We don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try because that's the fun. This is where cooking really gets fun. So water, I'm not gonna substitute that. That sounds great. That's vegan. Egg yolks. Eggs are not vegan. I eat eggs, but they're not vegan. So in place of egg yolks, I was doing some research. The egg yolks are there to emulsify the mayonnaise. An emulsifier brings together 2 things that don't normally combine. We're mixing oil and water, and we want them to coalesce to form a cohesive, like thick, gooey mayonnaise. And they want to separate otherwise. So eggs are used in mayonnaise to emulsify. They kind of coat things and make them stay together. So that's why mayonnaise doesn't separate in the fridge.
Hi, Lorelai.
Hey, Lorelai. So instead of using egg yolks, I was doing some research of what can also work as an emulsifier. And I investigated with my on food and cooking book, the super sciencey one. Didn't find out that much there, but I was going down the rabbit hole into the internet world, which we all know can be very unreliable. But what led me to is sometimes people use chickpea cooking liquid, which is great, but this is also the legume-free episode, so we're not going to be using chickpea cooking liquid. What I'm going to try and do is use carrots and make carrot juice, because carrots are apparently they're a very high source of pectin, and pectin apparently maybe can be used as an emulsifier. Eggs have lecithin. That's the emulsifier in eggs, and I also heard that green vegetables might work. Nobody's tested this before. I'm gonna test it and see if it works. Super unscientifically. If it doesn't work, well, at least we tried. So, first thing I'm gonna do is make carrot juice, which I've never done that before. And I'm just gonna chop this directly into my food processor. All of the vegetables have been perfectly washed by my lovely sous chef, Autumn Love, who's also the lovely camera lady, who's making all these great angles possible for everyone. Like I said, this is totally an experiment that has some backing to it. Whoops, that just went right to the sink. But this is what's super fun about cooking, and it doesn't have to be. It's not like a real experiment. I'm not gonna publish my data on this. I'll share my results, but it's not super scientific. How do I make carrot juice?
Brock says, carrots replacing egg yolks? Sounds like you're walking the high wire without a net.
I know, and I love eggs, so this is... I don't love carrots, but ideal.
I love carrots.
Autumn does love carrots. On one of our first outings together, we went to go get some food, and I got a sandwich. Autumn got a carrot and a cucumber. I was just bit right into the cucumber and... Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on. Alright. While our carrots are getting juiced, maybe, some other things we're doing here. We got lemons. Here's a lemon. It's already been ready, prepared. We have vegetable oil.
Juicy?
Yeah! It's kind of like the consistency of an egg yolk, maybe. Let's take a look. I could process it longer and get it a little thinner. Maybe I'll process it just a little bit longer to see if it gets juicier and less chunky. But I do kind of want it chunky because if I think about eggs are kind of chunky and thick. I just don't want it too textury. These eggs aren't gritty. I've never had a gritty egg, but I don't imagine it's good. So, vegetable oil. Now, normally I cook with olive oil a lot of the time, extra virgin olive oil or coconut oil, and those are like the only oils we have. But I didn't want to use coconut oil in this case because it's solid at room temperature, and it'd be harder to like mix and all that. And I didn't want to like melt it, and I don't know what that would do to everything. The other option, olive oil, apparently doesn't make a very good mayonnaise. It actually doesn't hold together well. I don't know why, but it was in the science book, so there's probably an explanation as to why olive oil doesn't make good mayonnaise. You can add it to the mayonnaise for flavoring, but it's not best to use as like the actual oil to emulsify. So we got safflower oil, which is a different vegetable oil that I really don't know very much about, which kind of makes it fun. And Dijon mustard, which we don't have, but we have yellow mustard, which I kind of like better than Dijon mustard, so it's kind of a win for us. We've got mustard, got all our ingredients. Let's see how our food processor holds up. It looks way juicier. It probably could still go longer, but I think I'm just gonna let it be like that. When we're just cooking for us, you could just do it however we want. That's kind of egg yolky. Well, let's see what happens. So, this is my source of information for the recipe, and I was reading a little bit about this, and the hardest part about making mayo is to get it to all form a proper emulsion, and apparently it's like very difficult in the beginning. So what we're going to do is start off whisking in a bowl. I'm going to mix together the water, the egg yolks, lemon juice. Now, because this is kind of more watery than eggs, I'm not sure that I'll actually add any water, because this is probably like that. I can always water it out if it looks too thick. I find it's always harder to thicken a sauce. It's much easier to thin a sauce if you find that it's too thick. But I love thick sauces. I need a bowl. How much mayonnaise are we going to end up with here? I saw a lot of sources here. I was watching Jamie Oliver make a mayonnaise, and he said a round bottom bowl is very important. I guess this is kind of square. It looked more round, but upon closer inspection, it's about as round as some of our smaller round bowls. This one looks a little rounder. Feels like a nice. Okay. 2 large egg yolks and 3 tablespoons of water. And this is for 1.5 cups of vegetable oil. I might reduce that a little bit. So I'm just gonna do my best to kind of estimate here. All right, that's gonna be our emulsifier. We're gonna have some lemon juice. Oops. Is this recent? Is this good to use? Okay.
Yes.
Sometimes stuff in our fridge has been in there for maybe longer than it should have been. But this, apparently, I'm told from sources that this is okay.
Fresh off the tree.
Fresh off the tree. This is local San Diego lemons. I'm not measuring here. I'm just using the recipe as a guideline. I'm not gonna blame the recipe. I'm not gonna blame the failure on this recipe if it doesn't work out, because I'm changing basically everything here. All right, there's our lemon. Our oven just beeped. It's been in for a few minutes. I'm just gonna take a little peek. Wow, it's looking very interesting in there. I'm gonna turn the heat down a little bit because it looks like it's getting brown. And I may actually transfer this to the cast iron because it might be cooking a little bit too much on the bottom. Nobody likes a black burnt crust, so I may have to make some adjustments here. I'm not fully used to cooking, but this is wild. Like, it did not look like that going in. This is super fun. It's definitely not done yet, but we can check the bottom of it. And remember, because it has baking soda, and it's gonna brown more easily, more readily than it would if it was just regular bread. So I forgot to consider that as well. This is probably gonna be done before I even need my, what's it called? The cast iron pan. So yeah. I'm gonna quickly transfer this. There's a problem. So I think maybe we'll just go with this. What I can try and do is some other creative stuff here. So instead of doing that, I can see the surface here isn't great, but I'm going to try and use this now because this is room temperature. So if I place the steel on this upside down, what'll happen is this acts as a cooling plate. Transfer the heat away from the other thing. So there we go. And I'm just going to put the heat at 425. Now, 400. I'm going to go there. I'm going to keep an eye on that because I don't want that to burn. Alright, back to our egg thing. That has no eggs. Lost my train of thought. Okay, egg yolks, lemon juice. Where do they add the mustard? Okay, we're gonna add mustard. I'm gonna add the salt later. Apparently Gordon Ramsay said that the salt can ruin the mayonnaise if you add it too early. See, I did my research here. How much mustard? Half teaspoon. Well, and okay, so they do that. They microwave to pasteurize this. And I'm gonna just whisk this together first. And combine this here. So apparently mustard's also an emulsifier. And now, whisk in some of this. Again, they say to add it very slowly. Just take a little drip at a time. And it's actually going to take quite a bit of oil. I'm probably going to use about almost all of this safflower oil. And this could take apparently up to 3 to 4 minutes. And then I'm going to transfer this to the food processor at some point in the future here, soon. Once I've added about a 1/4 cup of this. So now I'm kind of just going freestyle right now. I've kind of abandoned the Cook's Illustrated recipe, and I'm going based on what I saw Jamie Oliver and Gordon Ramsay doing, which we'll see how this pans out. I know this is probably very exciting.
Tell us a story.
What's of a good story to tell? I feel like there's more coming. There's so many exciting things that we're doing today. Just adding drops of oil at a time. It's a great workout for your elbow and arm. I'm gonna begin to transfer this soon. So exciting. What else is going on today? So once we have this mayonnaise, so if this doesn't work, I'm just gonna use avocado. That's gonna go on the BLTs anyways. Oh, did I ever say what the B was gonna be? Did I just totally avoid that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, nobody asked. So obviously lettuce and tomato are vegan, most often, and the B's usually stands for bacon of the BLT. Bacon is definitely not a vegan product, so we are instead going to be using portobello mushrooms, and we're going to be cooking those quite a bit. Whoa, that's a lot. We're going to be cooking those portobello mushrooms, and I think this is good, and turning those into a bacony flavored thing using some of our favorite spices like smoked paprika and other great delicious things. I'm gonna put this in here for right now. Our carrot juice.
The bread could be the B in BLT.
The bread could be the B in it. Definitely. We need a protein though for it. I guess the bread's partially our protein. I'm gonna rinse this out to get some of those carrot chunks out. This in here.
The straight carrot or not carrot? Okay.
Sometimes that's why I have my lovely filmer to kind of keep me on track, make sure I'm whisking the right things. Seriously though, sometimes I don't know where I would be without her. Okay.
Lost on a floating boat.
Lost on a floating boat, exactly. I'm not adding any sugar to this. The carrots are gonna have some sweetness of their own. I'm not a big fan of added sugar. Wow, I made a mess over there. Excuse me. Not being used at the moment. Okay.
How's the bread doing?
Looking good. It's gonna be a little while longer. Alright. Now I'm just gonna add probably like 2/3 of this thing. Very slowly. Apparently if you add too fast, it's not good. So we have to be very slow and cautious. Keep a steady stream here. bit of olive oil now for flavoring. Let's see. May not have worked. It looks very thin. That definitely doesn't look thick like mayonnaise. So, we're gonna come back to that in a second. A little bit longer. Wait for the bread to get a little more hard. Another 10 minutes or so. Do 9. All right. Put this back on. And we're going to plan B. Avocados. So I'm adding avocado to basically help thicken this up since the emulsion failed. I need to practice this apparently. Well, first I should probably make real mayonnaise and then try and work backwards from there. I just thought it would be a fun thing to try. And you know, things don't always work out as you might hope them to work out. But that doesn't mean we can't make something delicious.
Your mom said it was like a salad dressing.
Yeah. It may just stay more like a salad dressing. It may take quite a bit of effort to thicken this up. I'm also going to refrigerate it. It's going to thicken up in the fridge too. So, well, it was fun to try. We'll come back to that once I find the salt. Usually is in here.
Brock says, I enjoy the fact you didn't try this out before creating it with everyone watching.
Oh yeah. That's the best way to do this sometimes. That's what I want people to see through Cat Chef Kitchen. So you just you can just cook and things happen.
Yeah, I've said this before, but Bo's really inspired me to not be so intimidated. Just to not be intimidated by the kitchen, by trying things, by kind of act like you're a 5-year-old painting.
Exactly.
I think we people come at it and feel like there's a lot of rules to it.
Yeah, there's no rules for cooking. I mean, if you're a chef, yeah, you've got rules you should follow, but for most of us, we're just cooking at home. We just need to make good food that nourishes us. This is creating quite a bit. Let me taste this too.
I know, I want to try it.
I didn't taste this. I mean, it's just gonna be a big greasy. It needs. What does it need? More salt. I know I've separated it all, but I'll address this, don't worry. Yeah, it just needs a little bit of salt. I mean, we're basically just eating straight up oil. It's fun. It's fun to try new things. Sometimes they don't work out. I have tested the BLT thing before, so, and the dessert, you'll see, because we're doing dessert tonight too. Those have been tested. Look at all this. Okay, we'll come back to. I'll work on the vegan mayonnaise for you guys, and next time I do it, I'll do it with something else. But see, if this episode was just about vegan mayonnaise, then that would be a bummer. But it's not, so that's my out. Let's prep the lettuce and tomato.
Just go in the freezer.
Freezer? I would put in the fridge. Oh yeah, we're supposed to put that in the fridge so it thickens up a little bit. Like I said, she keeps me on track. Otherwise, things would not go according to plan. Sometimes, or according to the plan that became a plan. Where's the lid?
It's the hardest lids.
These lids are very difficult to find.
I don't know.
We just,
there it is.
Yeah, they're invisible, so it's just hard to find. All right, back to the BLT. We'll come back to vegan mayonnaise another day. All right. Here's my lovely new cutting board that I did not make. I just bought it because that was way easier. Oh, quick intermission or commercial for these things. This is the best thing you could ever buy in a can. Should we open them and show people? Okay, so if you don't know what this is, these are dolmas. These are stuffed grape leaves. And I love stuffed grape leaves. I never had them in a can before, but a friend brought them in a can one day, and this is the best canned food I've ever had. No joke. We're gonna open and show you. And you know what? This is room temperature. And you're gonna be like, this is what you think is good? But if you have not had these, they look so unappealing. But just give them a shot. Go to Trader Joe's, carries these. We get these at Sprouts. There's a little tiny grape leaf that's wrapped up. It's got rice and some spices. Oh, that's so good. There's the filling. It's like just rice. I think my camera girl would like one, most likely. So, it's kind of fun because I feel like I feed you guys when I feed her. So, you can get that much closer to the actual dining experience. Okay, bread. Got 2 minutes left. It's getting there. Alright, let's chop up lettuce. We have some iceberg lettuce here. I love iceberg lettuce. It's the least... Lettuce tends to not have that much nutritional value.
I didn't wash it, just so you know.
You didn't wash it, okay. And iceberg lettuce tends to have some of the lowest nutritional value, but let's be real, we're not having that much. This isn't a salad. This is just providing crunch. And our mushrooms are going to be providing... Are going to be on this thing too. So, the outside was rinsed of this, and I like to... I think for our BLTs, the best way of doing this, I love the little shreds that they have, and like, that's one of the things I loved about fast food restaurants. They use iceberg lettuce and they have like the little shreds of, I haven't eaten at a fast food restaurant in so long, but that It's so good. I don't know why I love this type of lettuce. I never had it. It's like a special treat. It smells like a garden. You could just... Oh, it smells so good. It smells lettucey. So, let's see. Maybe I'll peel some more. This probably would have been the better way, is just to peel. I kind of took my cabbage approach to this, where I slice. But I'm realizing now, as I'm doing this, that peeling is probably way more better.
More appealing?
More peeling. We're gonna check the bread now. I'm actually gonna do a more sophisticated check.
Here.
And the sophisticated check is going to involve poking it with a knife. Okay, so the real check is you take a thermometer and you check the temperature. Ideally, you want the temperature of the bread to be like 209 degrees, 207 degrees. That means it's done. Now I just check with a knife and just make sure a knife comes out clean when you poke it. That's pretty clean. So I think it's done. We're gonna leave you guys suspenseful to see what the inside looks like. That's kind of the most exciting part, in my opinion. And this is done. Turn off the oven, and we're actually almost done with everything. Where are we at time-wise? We'll see where things go. We may have to postpone. I didn't think about this all the way through. We could do the dessert thing. Sometimes I don't know where I'm going. Oh yeah, lettuce. I like to just rinse the lettuce leaves themselves individually. I don't know. Once we wash the head, Autumn washed the head, but I like to just rinse the leaves individually under water. I just think that gets it a little bit more thoroughly washed. Good enough. This is ready. Next, I'm going to do the bacon. What's it called? Mushrooms. This is hot. I need to remember that. Maybe I'm just gonna. I don't even need to preheat this? No, I don't. It's already super hot. So, what I'm gonna do is chop up the mushrooms now, and the mushrooms are gonna be chopped really thin, and we need to be sure that we don't overcrowd the pan here, because if we overcrowd the pan, the mushrooms have so much water, they're just going to boil and steam, and we don't want them to boil and steam. So I'm gonna cut these pretty thin, kind of like as thin as a cut of bacon might be. And these are gonna shrink down quite a bit. Just gonna start with these 2 heads of mushrooms. And this will probably be enough for the 2 of us. So about 1 mushroom per person is a good estimate of how much you'll need. Recycling. Coat the pan in olive oil, and we're going to saute the mushrooms. I'm gonna lay these guys out. Remember, this was in the oven, so it was basically already preheated. And again, I need to be very careful that I don't overcrowd the pan here. But these are going to shrink down to like 1/3 of the size. I'm not gonna add any seasonings yet. Although maybe I'll add a little bit of salt to help draw out the moisture, because salt is going to do that. I can start chopping up and prepping the tomatoes. We use heirloom tomatoes because they have more flavor than regular grocery store tomatoes. There's like a whole thing about tomatoes from grocery stores and like how void they are of flavor. I didn't know this until a few years ago. I heard something on NPR with a guy that wrote a book about tomatoes. I think his name was Barry Estabrook. I don't know how I remember that name. But heirloom tomatoes typically have a lot more flavor than the other tomatoes in a grocery store. If you go, the best other thing to do would be growing your own or getting them from a farmer's market where they're grown in soil. Hydroponic tomatoes have less flavor too. And the issue with tomatoes in the grocery store is that they ship them when they're still green. They pick the tomatoes when they're green because that lessens the chances that they'll get bruised or damaged during shipping because they're hard. What that means though is a lot of times the tomatoes will develop flavor. They develop the flavor through the ripening process. So they're picked off the plants before they get the chance to develop flavor. So that's why so many grocery store tomatoes just are bland and not tasty. Alright, check out these guys. These guys? They've shrunken down quite a bit. I'm going to flip them. We're going to look for them. We want them to get brown like that. Almost burnt. Almost burnt. I could maybe add a few more to this just while we have room. Just keeping in mind which ones I'm adding late though. This won't really negatively affect the ones that are in there at all. And I'm going to start to add some seasoning soon. And we're going to add some onion powder to this, some garlic powder, soy sauce, and for that umami flavor, taste rather. Flavor is more of a smell, taste is more what your tongue perceives and your mouth perceives. So let's add some of our seasonings. Oh yeah, of course, smoked paprika. So this is smoked paprika. I'm going to shake some of this in there. We're going to add some chipotle as well. This is chipotle. This makes the mushroom stock taste smoky. I'm going to add some onion powder. We're going to add some coriander. And maybe a little bit of garlic powder. You know, it's a little spicy. Oh yeah, I forgot to add the soy sauce. And this is just like, these are just getting pounded with flavor right now. Some of the spice of that Chipotle.
Oh my gosh.
It's really starting to. So you can see the mushrooms are like a nice brown color. You could grill these too if you have a grill. In that case, you maybe want to season everything beforehand and throw them on the grill. Now I've got to do round 2. And you may be wondering, what's our protein for the evening? And I'm gonna we're gonna use nutritional yeast and the bread as our primary protein. Bread has gluten, and that's gonna be, our protein. We're almost there. Heat back up on that. Let me give these guys a taste and just check on their flavor. I mean, it looks like mushroom-shaped bacon. That is so good. Now for our camera girl. How is it, Autumn?
Wow.
Tasty? Let's see that face. What's that face? What does tasty look like?
So much flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, it's delicious. How more?
You can have another one. Or you can save them for the thing.
So what spices did you put in those again?
That was onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, chipotle, coriander, soy sauce, and salt. And I'm going to add a little more salt here.
But you waited till the end.
I wait till the end with everything except the salt because there's a high chance that they're going to burn because the mushrooms take so long to cook and there's a lot of open space in this. So you see the pan? It's not a crowded pan. There's a lot of, all this area where the pan's exposed is getting really, really hot. So the mushrooms are cooking, but if there's spices in these spots, which there's going to be, it's just gonna burn there, then you get bitter flavor. So I like to wait closer to the end to add the spices for this particular process. Sometimes you add the spices first if you have a lot of oil. Like I said, we don't have a lot of oil here. So this is going to be getting higher temperature than the smoke point of oil, so it's going to be burning things easier. The oil kind of insulates spices from the higher heat sometimes. So what you can do to bring out some more complex flavors in spices is if you have the pan fully coated in oil, add spices like cumin, paprika, coriander, add those to the hot oil before anything else, and wait till they're fragrant, which is pretty quick. And that is called blooming the spices, and that really kind of brings a whole new level of flavor to your cooking game. I gotta check out this bread, I think. I'm gonna cut into it. I know we're coming up on our hour, so I might ask you guys to think about whether you want to see the vegan dessert tonight, or if we should just postpone it for just an exclusive vegan dessert night, maybe sometime this week, because I know it's already been quite a while, and I was pretty ambitious, and it's Sunday night. I don't want to give you too much catch-up in one evening. Because the vegan dessert, I think it's going to take 5 minutes, but it might take a full hour. So I think we should focus on the quality of this. We're going to recover from our little mishap of, what's it called? The mayo mishap. Oh, it's a fun name. Mayo mishap. It sounds like a pumpkin.
Mayo mishap. I like that. Brock says make it a special event during the week.
Okay, we're going to do that. I'll decide on a night today or tomorrow. We'll probably do it later in this week.
Brock, would you want to make it along with us or just watch? Should both send you the ingredients to buy?
I could just do that regardless for everyone on the email list, and then they can decide, what am I in here for?
Sequoia's on his way over.
Awesome.
We have a friend coming for dinner.
In that case, I'm going to need to make some more bacon. So things just... I love when people show up.
And Brock says, yes, send the ingredients.
Okay, we're gonna do that now. Since you're on and you're one of our recurring guests or members of our audience, we can give you the option of things to cook. We can either do a coconut macaroon thing, which involves no baking. I think it's like 4 or 5 ingredients. There's 0 cooking of anything involved. It's just mixing things together in like a blender or a food processor, which I realize not everyone has one of those. So it wouldn't be, could be good because it's easy, but could also be not so great because not everyone has the ingredients. Oh yeah, the soy sauce. You can't forget everything. Gotta get that. The soy sauce here, actually, we do want it to have enough for flavor. Like, we want the soy sauce flavor in this a little bit. It's not gonna taste too it's not gonna taste too much like Asian food per se, but it's just gonna be, it's gonna add a nice flavor to complement everything else. And for the desserts, as I'm finishing on this last portobello, we can do those coconut macaroon things. We can do fried plantains. That's a 1 ingredient, or no, it's another like 3 ingredient thing. Fried plantains, which are good with maple syrup, kind of like tasty little pancakes. Or we can do a special like muffin. I do some muffins with like sometimes a bean or potato frosting on it. That can be kind of fun. If any of those sound particularly tasty to anyone viewing.
So, some plantains as a dessert, some coconut macaroon sort of things, or muffins. Any opinions on what Bo does?
Do we have anything else that you'd recommend, Autumn, that I make that you like? Banana Surprise is a little bit ambitious, I think, for my first one.
I really like your options.
You like the options? And that was the salt I just added there. Cutting the bread. That's where I came and I was looking for a knife. These are the best knives, serrated knives for cutting bread.
Brock just said whatever you think is best is good for him.
Perfect. So let's see. How's the color? The moment of the big reveal. Look at that. It's actually a little bit more green than blue, so I added a little too much baking soda. Let's give it a little taste. It's also probably going to have more flavor because there's so much baking soda in it. Because baking soda, like, it's partially a salt, so. It's really good. I'm gonna give it to Autumn. It's nice and crispy. It's got a nice crumb. Autumn, we're gonna switch it. Put you on the spot. What'd she think? Might need a little salt. Okay. So we're good in that department. We're almost there, everyone.
You cooked it the perfect amount.
Perfect. Gonna prep our avocados. This is a kohlrabi. We might add this to the thing, to the sandwiches. It's just like a crispy vegetable. It's kind of like broccoli and cucumber mixed together. And I'm just gonna prep. This is one of the things we could add to the top of our sandwiches, which is not a traditional BLT item at all, but kohlrabi is fun to say, and it's you don't see it that much, and that's spelled Kohlrabi, as in, how's Kohl spelled at the store? Is that Kohl? There you go. So it's like you gotta go to Kohl's with a rabbi. Kohlrabi.
We hung out with our friend Cole today.
Yeah, we have a friend Cole. He spells it C-O-L-E. Not K-O-H-L. But I like to try and eat foods that are very different. Kohlrabi I never see anywhere, actually. That's why I think I give it some love. I'm probably the only person, I often get asked in the grocery store when I'm on the checkout line, what is this? What's this weird thing you have that you want to buy? So the other protein that is going to be part of our sandwiches is the nutritional yeast. I may even add that to the mayonnaise and make it a high protein mayonnaise. See if that makes it any thicker. Again, I'm sorry that the mayonnaise didn't work out. I got your hopes up. I failed you. But I'll make it up to you at some point. The blue bread kind of worked out. That kind of turned green though. So I think that's what's fun about doing this live. Things don't work out perfectly. But that is the perfection of it, actually. Everything is exactly as it's meant to be. Trust the process. Starting to sound like autumn love.
You are. I'm digging it. Your mom loves kohlrabi.
Add our spices. I may have forgotten to add spices to the other mushrooms, I'm just realizing. I added the soy sauce, but I think I forgot everything else. So, we might have some mushrooms in there that need a little bit more spices.
Your mom says the mayo probably still tastes good.
It does, but it's not like the same
consistency.
And that's part of the appeal of mayonnaise. And it's like the white whale for me. It's my white whale. I've never gotten it right. I mean, I've only tried once before this. But it just seems it just takes so much oil. It seems like such an elusive feat to be able to make mayonnaise. Maybe I'll practice with eggs, since I can eat eggs. I'll get my mayonnaise game going strong. And then we'll find out some other things. It would be really fascinating if the carrot juice actually would work and I just did something else wrong. But eggs beat up into you know how eggs get, like egg whites. Yeah, I definitely forgot to add some of the seasonings to these. They're still so good though.
I think it's fine.
They're all gonna sit together and intermingle. So that's spice. It's wonderful. Alright. Check that out. Now we're gonna build these. Ready to build our fort. Actually, the friend that's coming over is the guy that introduced us to stuffed grape leaves in a can. How fun is that? also need to prep the avocado. Woo, that's hot. Smoky. I wonder what people think of us right now. That's from the Chipotle. That would not be happening if we did not add Chipotle. So if you do not like spice, do not add Chipotle. Just stick with the smoked paprika. Maybe get some smoked salt. That would work well as well. Well as well. All as well. Swell. Autumn thought that was funny.
Bo's hilarious. Anyone else think Bo's hilarious? Just want a side comment on that.
I'm glad she thinks that. I kind of lose, we were talking about this, I lose, there's like a filter, like usually when I'm living life, there's like a filter through which things pass through to get out of me, and when I start doing this and cooking and talking in front of the camera, like the camera phone, that middle section goes away. Things just happen and come out, and I often forget what I'm doing, but I also feel extremely present in the process. So, it's a really fun experience.
Brock says no filter's the best. We also we're less than 10%, by the way.
On the battery?
Yeah.
We may need to plug in soon. Do we know the exact percentage? Was it recent?
I can't look.
How long ago did we hit 10%?
5 minutes ago.
We're getting close. We're on the wire. This is now we're really under pressure. Okay. I'm gonna cut these into thirds, I think. That's gonna be a nice sandwich size. Maybe we should plug in the phone with an extension cord so we don't lose anyone. There's a pretty good chance that we can cut out. So completely in around.
Oh, that's the one connected to that. It's a different one.
I don't see any other ones. So this is the extension cord I'm gonna use. We got this. We're not gonna lose you. I know there's only 5 minutes left, but. And then there's a charger. Here. Making things work.
Sorry, thank you, people.
Thanks for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. We got this. Okay. Now I shall cut the bread. It is a fun color. I don't know if you could see it that well because it's kind of dark. In our kitchen. But that's a really nice airy structure of foam breadness. So we've got our base carve. We're building the fortress today, not the community. And always use the flatter piece upon which to build your fortress. And avocado, I'm doing it wrong. I forgot, everyone. We have mayonnaise, so we need to use the mayonnaise. I'm hoping it actually thickened up in the fridge, because if you ever put olive oil in the fridge, it coalesces and kind of gels a little bit. So there's a chance it may have done that. Upon first looking at it, though, it doesn't seem to be like that. So it's just going to be like a dressing. I have to check the flavor of it, though, for sure. Just jiggle a little bit, see which one. This one feels a little more coalescent. Gotta taste it. Oh yeah, it's thicker. It's not quite mayonnaise-y, but it is thicker. I wonder if we let it sit longer, if it will cool down more, if it will thicken more. I like it. It tastes good. We have a friend coming, so I can't reuse that spoon. That would not be sanitary. So we put our sauce, spread our mayonnaise sauce on the bottom. And I'm also going to sprinkle salt on the bottom here, because remember our bread is very under-seasoned. I don't think I put anything on it. So there's our base. Now for the salt. Just gonna hit it with some little sprinkle of salt. All right, now the avocado. We can come back to the avocado. Lay the avocado all nice in order. That one's gonna flip that way just so it fits better. Now our bacon, mushroom bacon. I think I'm gonna do a little like this. Oh, this is so flavorful. Forgot to add nutritional yeast, so I'll do that now too. That's going to be our additional protein. And remember, nutritional yeast has like 5 grams of protein per tablespoon. So it's a nice source of protein. I'm probably not going to put a full tablespoon on here, but this also goes very well on the bottom with everything. Now I will lay down my tomato. Like so.
Your mom says it looks so good.
Good. She should try it and tag Cat Chef Kitchen. And again, iceberg lettuce is really my favorite here just because it's so crunchy. And let's be real, people. Like, lettuce, if you're putting 2 leaves of romaine or 2 leaves of iceberg, I don't think the nutritional value is going to be that much different. Not an expert, but... Alright, this is it. That's it right here. Alright, you know, maybe I just want a little bit more of that mayonnaise on top too, and just really make it saucy. So I'm gonna coat it on the top of our bowl, of our bread too. Here we go. Moment of truth. It's better than I was expecting. Oh, that's so good.
Brock says it looks really good.
That is just... I mean... Come on. Alright, I think Autumn's gonna need to have a bite soon too. So we're gonna finish it there. We're gonna conclude tonight's episode with that. And thank you for tuning in. We'll let you know about the upcoming dessert episode within a day or two. And I hope to see you for the dessert episode or next Sunday at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Any questions? I always have to ask. Any questions? It's nice to be able to interact with people that way. Thank you all for watching. So that's it.
Everyone just says it looks really good.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and let me know if you try this out. Take some pictures. Tag at Cat Chef Kitchen.